Despite being the only team to beat Argentina in Qatar, Saudi Arabia failed to make it out of the group. They kicked off this campaign with a 1-1 draw against Uruguay. Spain haven't made it past the last 16 since they lifted the trophy in 2010. But their young superstar, Lamine Yamal, starts. It's a win piece in Group H after the opening round of games. And remember that 8 of the 12 third-place teams will qualify for the knockout stages. Uruguay and Cape Verde do meet later today. But of course, for now, we're going to be focusing on events in Atlanta. This is also where Spain played Cape Verde, which means it's back-to-back matches for them in an air-conditioned stadium. Keeping that cool here when Rooney is here, so too is Thomas Frank, and we're joined by former Spain international Cesar Azpilicueta, who only retired about a month ago. You've decided not to go for a nice, quiet retirement then?
Not yet.
Not ready just yet, but look, it would be nice to ease you in gently with a Spain victory, with a really good Spain performance. Maybe we got halfway to that in the game against Cape Verde. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think it was a game where they created good chances, they didn't score. I think defensively, Cape Verde, they did a great game. I expect more of Spanish game today to control the game, to create chances. Then we will see if they're able to convert into goals.
So you're not too worried about that opening result against Cape Verde. Has it affected how you think about Spain? You came in as the favourites, Thomas.
I think speaking today, they need to perform and win today, which I'm pretty sure they will do. So they have such a strong team, and now Yamal is back. I think also there's a few starters in where I think more fit than Olmo is in as a winger. So I think today we will see even more penetrating team. So I'm pretty sure they'll do a job, but we don't know.
Cesar, we will talk in more detail about Yamal a little bit later on, but just the inclusion of him and the positivity that can bring to anybody who's supporting Spain today.
Yeah, he will bring something different to the team. I expect him to be on the right winger, getting the ball, making runs. Not only what he can create with the ball, but also he will attract more defenders and will create more spaces for midfielders, strikers, even the right back, the Loporo. He will have some space to put some quality crosses. So I expect a lot of the game from Spain on the right side.
Spain frustrated by Virginia and a fantastic performance for him in the Cape Verde goal last time out. This time around, it's another informed goalkeeper in Alaves. When you look at the way that Saudi Arabia performed in their 1-1 draw against Uruguay, particularly in the second half, Wayne, do we take more from the performance or from the numbers?
It's an interesting one because the goalkeeper, he made a lot of saves, and you look at the heat map here, it shows where all the South Arabia touches were, and it's right in front of their own goal. So, yeah. So it weren't a vintage performance, but the goalkeeper made some fantastic saves. But I think the worrying thing for me is the amount of saves he had to make. So Saudi Arabia sat in a low block. But they didn't get to the ball, so they weren't blocking shots, they weren't making it difficult for the opponents, for Uruguay to get shots off, so they rolled it up at times, and the keeper had an unbelievable save. Some of the saves he makes are incredible. So against the Spain team, who we know will dominate the ball, we know will have foul hit entries, penalty box entries, they have to defend better, they have to get to the ball better, and not rely on the goal, because almost that's a fantastic save. And there's only so many times you can have games like this as a goalkeeper, and this is one of them games. I think if he faces this many shots today, then I think it would be very difficult for Saudi Arabia to keep a clean sheet.
It also looks as though, despite the fact he made the saves, he was parrying them. Would you expect with Spain that there would be someone there to finish that off?
Yeah, I expect so. I think the Spanish players, they will be hurting after the last result, even though they got a draw. So I'd imagine there'd be more players making a penalty box, and if he does play them, you'd hope from a Spanish point of view, you have someone there to tap them.
It's been quite a successful World Cup for teams who haven't had a lot of possession in this one, Thomas. Do you think that's something to do with how they're setting up, how they're approaching the games? Is it to do with the conditions? I mean, these are the 8 teams who've got the lowest possession at this World Cup, and 7 of them haven't lost.
True, but I think it's a combination of some of them are, they have lesser weapons. They can't, also today Saudi Arabia, we don't expect them to dominate the game, so we will also be 75 to 80% possession for Spain. I'm not in doubt of that. So, but that's what you do when you are not as good as the other. You need to defend well. Saudi needs to defend well. Cape Verde needs to defend well if they want to get a point and hopefully maybe progress for them.
I think on that, I think the coaches are better. There's better coaches at this World Cup, and the teams are more organised, and it's so difficult to play through. And I think it shows the lack of crosses into the penalty box, because the best way to disorganise a low block is to put crosses in the box and pick up second balls. And you might have players on the floor and players not getting up back over the back line. So I think the more crosses you can put in the penalty box, the more goals and the better it is to get that team onto that low block.
I agree. You love it.
Yeah, I suffered. I suffered that with you.
But look, if we were talking about crosses, it brings us on to corners, because it wouldn't be 2026 if we weren't talking about set pieces. They have already been a feature for this World Cup. They tend to be going for outswingers rather than in-swingers, certainly when you compare them to what happened in the Premier League.
Away just brushed aside. He's got the strength as well. He may only be 18 years of age, but so physically strong here. There's the shoulder barge out the way, and the quality at the end of it, putting a decent enough ball in the box. Pretty good clearing header actually by Henry. Rodri. Back into Kouassi. With that forward ball, and that's going to reach Spain. And it cuts inside, big deflection. Corner kick Spain inside the first 2 minutes. They're right on the front foot. Yeah, we said the ball would have to be moved quicker, more in tempo, purpose. We're seeing that straight away from Spain. It's only his fifth game in charge. He took over Saudi Arabia only 53 days before this tournament started, replacing Hervé Renard, who was sacked after a defeat to Egypt, but of course he ended up taking over Tunisia, the French coach. Lamine Yamal, deep ball is a bit short. I'll turn back to you with the clearance. Pedri working it away toward the left-hand side. Rodri. Pedro Porro. Lamine Yamal. Invited and kept it. He's got it, he'll have it. Otherwise, just held on to it. This is what they do well, Spain. They play with an inverted winger. Baena on that side is that one now because Cucurella will give them that width on the left, and his job is essentially to become the second striker. He does it well on that far post. It was just a fraction too high for him to get any purchase on it and get it back across into the area. It's a nice early tempo about Spain. Yamal going for goal. Looks very comfortable on this stage. Yeah, well, Al-Harbi's got a real problem in the left wing back position because he's thinking, do I show him inside? If I show him inside, he's got a wonderful left wing. If I show him outside, he's more than comfortable, and then he's got the skill to beat me. So that's where it's so difficult to defend against a player of Yamal's quality. Here's one from Al-Amri, didn't find Salah Mohammed. Al-Amri again, Pedro Porro. Shadowing them through, letting it roll through to Simon. Cucurella around the corner, worked quickly forward by Pedri. Rodri. Is around the penalty spot. box, make life difficult, may just pick up a stray second ball in a better position. Driven to Danny Olmo, takes it on the volley. Converting that would have been a goal and a half. Yeah, it's so difficult when you're always walking away from the ball. You're trying to reset yourself and get yourself in a decent position. Perhaps the touch would have been better and then hit the strike. Otherwise, with the clearance, part of the side that beat Argentina in Qatar. George Astonis, the coach of Saudi Arabia, said that Spain are a different side with Lamine Yamal in it, and that is certainly true. Even the quality that they have on the pitch without him, but with him, it's a different prospect to play against. He is scary. He's so good. You see it, how sharp he is at close hand. It's phenomenal to watch. A taunt. With a chance to cross. Pedro. Pedro Porro takes it on and lifts it over the bar, rising all the time. Off the right boot of the Tottenham Hotspur fullback. Yeah, it's such a difficult skill. Bring the ball back into and trying to hit across the ball and keep it down. So tough. Maybe that ball into Danny Olmo would have been the better pass. Pedro Porro's first game and his first major tournament. That's attempted in the back post. Spain in front.
What can Spain?
And he's arrived.
David the bow.
After 10 minutes
What
of
else
his
could it
first
be?
start. Their first goal of this World Cup finals. Lamine Yamal takes the celebrations. Well, he's the man everyone wanted to come and see, but I think, Steve, this is Oyarzábal's first involvement, perhaps his first touches in the game. A little give and go, the spin round the corner, but take nothing away from this ball. It's absolutely brilliant because it takes out the goalkeeper, it takes out the defenders. But for Yamal, we talked about that winger having to make the second strike and getting the back post. It's a great finish from Yamal. The roof's just nearly come off this place. Lovely bit of play by Mikel Oyarzábal, and Lamine Yamal slides in the opening goal. Now Jouer for Saudi Arabia. Such is the way Spain plays, Steve. Oyarzábal's had no involvement at all. Danny Olmo just had to hurry there to get ahead of Abdullah Al-Khairi. His 7th international goal, becoming only one of 7 players to have scored in a World Cup finals before the age of 19. And then lets the ball roll away from his right foot. President of FIFA is here today. Fernando Hierro sitting behind him. There's a World Cup tale to tell. Come back to that. Lamine Yamal, lovely tempting ball. Otherwise, has done pretty well. And the follow-up is blazed horribly by Pedro. But by it was otherwise
Valencia came for it. Could easily have been a second here.
Yeah, but he's at the heart of everything, isn't he, Amal? A weighted pass, it's almost perfect. Credit to the goalkeeper, Halouashi, does really well. You see there, Pedri saying to Athbal, make sure you're out the way. Leave it, that's mine. It's good communication, and he just gets the next part wrong.
Nearly 15 minutes in, they'll be feeling they might be able to fill their boots here.
Well, with him on the pitch, they absolutely will be, because he is causing so many problems.
Athbal. Pedro Porro. Kobasi, who's only 19, I mean, he's an incredible defender. Obviously, central defenders don't quite get the spotlight of forward players, but man on the ball here is some player at some very young age.
He's brilliant because he's great at building the game up from the back, and it's exactly what they need today, Spain.
Cucurella's cross. Mohammed did well. Going to reach him. Lamine Yamal. Laporte. Drifting inside. Curling.
They struck up a lovely relationship on that left side with Cucurella. He's good at overlapping runs, making sure he's getting beyond him, but this is the Yamal goal. Just making sure he's in that back post area. The credit again to Athbal, making sure that he fizzes it hard and low, takes out the defenders. Goalkeeper's got no chance. They're frightened to put it in their own goal.
And however many more he scores at this level, he'll always remember the first. Al-Amri is wandering over to take a free kick for Saudi Arabia. Laporte's header. Sima. Laporte. Pedro Porro. Laporte. Floating a nice looking ball away to Lamine Yamal. Harvey in front of him. That's a superb ball in. Just like a little fruit out of reach for Dani Olmo, but only just.
Everybody sees the run of Dani Olmo and he just anticipates where he's going to end up.
Giving the ball away here. And pushed away by Allardyce, carried into that danger area. Athbal with the effort. When he made the save.
I think it comes through the body. He probably sees it a little bit late. It's not the most confident of saves, not the most comfortable. He's got his job done.
Dani Olmo. It's a good challenge by Hassan Al-Dosari. Just about kept in play by Saud Abdelhamid. Held up by Faraz Al-Brakan.
Just trying to slow the game down now, just trying to draw Spain out of
to reach in. Just needed someone to anticipate. Hassan Al-Tambakti forward. Sam El-Dorsari just about keeping it in play is Unai Simon. It's kind of 1-0 going on 3, isn't it? At the moment, absolutely is. WatchAlong Harvey. And the goal kick is the decision. Well, if they can get some momentum behind them in this tournament, Spain, they're going to be hard to stop. That's a great ball.
Yeah, it was. It was a lovely ball, and he just knew that away. Otherwise, they'd come out. It was a ball across the box that was going to be the most important one, and that's probably where you think Mal could have been again.
Conceded possession cheaply. Hooked out from Abdullah Al-Khaibri. It's hard, very hard for them. But they're not helping themselves if they give the ball away cheaply inside their own final third.
It's hard because of the system that they're playing as well. They push back into a back five, and then they don't really have any width to get themselves out. Al-Harbi on this near side in front of us down the left-hand side. He's probably the out ball if they can get the switch, because I know he's having a tough time against Jamal, but he's rapid, he's really quick.
Abdullah Al-Amri of Al-Nasser. Lost it. Went for ball forward. That's a great covering challenge. It's going to be a corner.
He had to get there, Najami. He had to recover quickly. An error again. He's wrong side, and then he recovers extremely well. That touch there just allows him to get back in and make that challenge. He's still got to time it right.
Najami, one of the two from Al Hilal who came into the starting lineup. Minutes played, all Spain. Corner kick is flicked on, and he almost shot cannons inside the area. Laporte got something onto it. He's 2-0.
2-0 Spain. This is the Spain we know.
Great moment for him. Missed the last World Cup injured. Makes his mark on this one. Spain 2, Saudi Arabia 0.
We talked about second contacts in the box, and that's exactly what Spain do here. They keep the ball alive, and that's the most important thing. As it makes its way to Dani Almo at the back post, it's not a great strike, but then Laporte keeps it alive here, just does enough to get hold of the ball, a touch. Defender doesn't want to clear the ball because he's worried about the man behind him. He's worried about kicking through. And he just slots it with the outside of the foot. It's a lovely finish. It's a calm finish. He's the one who composes himself at the vital time. Nice touch, outside of the foot. Great finish. Spain in complete control of this game.
Yeah, very sharp finish. I think there is probably a bit of a look for offside here, but referee from Brazil, Rafael Klaus, indicating no, we're all good, it's 2-0. Hassan Al-Tambakti forward. Afternoon for Georgios Donis ahead, I think.
Yeah, always going to be a big uphill task. It was always going to be difficult. You want to keep the game as tight as you can for as long as you can.
As Dani Almo picked it off away from Hassan Al-Tambakti. WatchAlong Harvey's lost it. Rodri, Lamine Yamal. Bayena will have to go and chase that. Oozing threat from every angle. Pedro Porro, Kukura, Olmo, and
3-0 Spain.
The European champions are in the groove at this World Cup. They certainly are, Steve. And what you do need in this team is you need a poacher, because they will create opportunities. Lovely ball to the back post, and the confidence there just to cushion it into the pass from Kukureya just allows them to keep that attack alive. And Oyarzábal at the back post, do what he does best and do what he's done so well in this game so far. The simplest of tap-ins. Great couple of moments for him. He joins a posse of players on 2 goals at this World Cup finals, sitting just behind Lionel Messi, Dennis Undav and Jonathan David. But he will be hoping he's not done yet today. He'll certainly be thinking he'll get more chances in this game, Steve. I did say, as we go into the hydration break, that Saudi Arabia were unlikely ever to be on the end of the kind of defeat they suffered against Germany in 2002 when they lost 8-0. Forgive me for saying it might have been a bit hasty. Yeah, I mean, they're causing them so many problems. The system that Saudi Arabia have set themselves up in with a back five, they simply can't get out of it. And then you get caught between who do you pick up, which man's yours, and that is causing them so many problems. But the movement is brilliant from Spain, whether it's in wide areas from Yamal or Baena, or whether it's from Kukureya overlapping. It's been breathtaking at times. It's simply been brilliant from Spain. And he has some talking to do to try and lift their spirits. Well, if you want to watch the match from every angle, from any player's perspective, looking at the action through his eyes maybe, then scan the QR code on your screen to get the World Cup 3D experience in the BBC Sport app. There's plenty to look at in the first 20-odd minutes of this game. Cesar Azpilicueta. What a great start for your boys. What a difference Lamine Yamal has made.
Yeah, it was a great start from Spain. 3 goals. They created many opportunities. I think is key. They are recovering the ball really high on the pitch, and they have created a lot of chances and scoring 3 goals isn't about the sound.
How important to get Lamine Yamal in and running, Cesar? I mean, he's just dazzled, hasn't he?
Very important. We could see from the beginning, as soon as he received the first ball, he was taking on defenders. He created already a great chance with his cross, and we see he's a very, very dangerous player.
Thank you very much, Cesar. We'll hear more from you at half-time. And, of course, Oyarzábal has taken his goal-scoring tally for his country to a very impressive 27, and this is 55th cap. That's a hair's breadth shy of a goal every other game. More World Cup football, of course, coming up on the BBC. Belgium and Iran tonight, 8 o'clock on BBC Sounds and 5 Live. Cape Verde and Uruguay, the other game in Group H. That's at 10:30 this evening, BBC One. Skipping into tomorrow, New Zealand against Egypt. Monday in the very early hours, BBC Sounds and 5 Live. And of course, highlights of every match from the 2026 World Cup finals on the BBC iPlayer. Well, the game is won. It's really a question of how many will they win it by. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's about the mentality, isn't it? The one thing that Spain could have been beaten by was themselves today with complacency. And what we've seen is there certainly hasn't been any of that. And listen, avoiding Argentina and Messi in the round of 32 has clearly been a motivation, I would imagine. If they win the group, They will go to Los Angeles to play the runner-up in Group J, looking like Austria at the moment. Though things can change.
We have seen it with hydration breaks before, where it's changed the shift in the game. I don't think we're going to get that today.
No, I was more thinking that Group J might change rather than this game, to be honest. I'm anticipating Argentina winning, but it may not happen. Danny Olmo. Laporte. Rodri. Lovely ball. Bayana 3 in the middle. What's the crossfight? Comes straight back to Alex Bayana. Cucurella wants it. It's cut out by Saud Abdulhamid. Cleared away only as far as Danny Olmo. Rodri. Danny Olmo. Lovely feet and a bit of physicality too. Pedro Porro hurt as he found Lamine Yamal, who whips it too high and too strong. And Pedro Porro is in a bit of pain here. And the yellow card has been dispensed to Salah Al-Dosari. For many years has been the flag bearer for the Saudi national side.
I've got to say, Steve, it's not a yellow card. He's just stretched for a ball and sort of caught his toe ever so slightly. Pedro Porro's made so much out of that.
Well, Saudi Arabia have lost 10 of the 11 games at World Cups they've played against European opposition. One very notable exception, a 1-0 win over Belgium in 1994 in Orlando. You may remember Saeed Awairan scoring an absolute wonder goal. Sorry, Washington, not Orlando, to beat Belgium. One of the great World Cup goals. I'm fairly sure they're not winning this one. Laporte.
Hasn't quite got going yet, Pedri, in the middle of the park. He's probably been the one player who's not quite influenced the game the way other players have. You know his qualities.
Fourth major tournament already for him at 23. Crowded out. He is Unai Simon. Spain's 17th World Cup finals, 13 consecutive, 74 in then West Germany. It's the last time they weren't involved in the finals. Rodri just ricocheted nicely for Saudi Arabia, worked wide to Saud Abdulhamid. Abdullah Al-Amri happy to go back to Mohamed Alouais.
Talk about all the qualities of Spain on the ball. Off the ball, they are simply brilliant. The traps that they set, the way they make it so difficult for the Saudi Arabian players to get their heads up.
Sliding in was Ali Lajami to make sure it didn't reach Yafamal. Here is Al-Amri again. Their most heavy defeat in the World Cup finals was against the host Russia in 2018 when they lost by 5, beaten narrowly 4 years ago by Poland and Mexico. They went out in the group stage, as they always have since 1994, when they did reach the round of 16, losing to Sweden. Pedri into Danny Olmo. Maybe fake to the hips and then a step inside. Oh, nearly got away from Moteb Al-Harbi. He'd be very happy to have got his left boot on that. Brickan here, nominally a centre forward, playing it up to Salam Al-Dosari. And Moteb Al-Harbi here. Kabasi was doing the covering.
We talked about his qualities before, Kabasi, such a young defender. And one of the things that he's going to have today is concentration, because he's not going to have to defend all too much, but he shows his qualities, his ability to read the game.
Pedro Porro. Danny Olmo. Pedro Porro. Keeping his eyes on the ball. Kabasi. Rodri.
Keep your eyes on the ball. It's the hips and the shuffles from Yamal that are the problems.
Abdullah Al-Amri trying to lob Unai Simon. Someone will put that down as an attempted goal.
Yeah, good vision. That's the thing, is he does play high. Simon in the goal of Spain. He was there to be hit. It's just too far.
Pedri. The corner just about prevented by Alois Victor. And that's so close to a hat-trick. Off the top of the crossbar from Oyarzabal after a really poor bit of decision-making from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, but how quickly does he see it? How quickly is he his first touch, and then the execution is almost perfect. It was so good, and that would have been an incredible hat-trick. A way to round it off. He's so quick in the mind, isn't he?
They are being overrun completely. Saudi Arabia, as Rodri finds Lamine Yamal. Relentless pressure from Spain. Curling pushed away by Alois dangerously, though. They're a bit fortunate that Alex Baena didn't control that first time.
Yeah, we'll steam it straight back at them again.
Rodri, Pedro Porro. And curling wide from Lamine Yamal.
He hasn't quite got the radar on for that curling effort from whipping inside from the wing onto his left foot, getting that strike away. He can't give him any more opportunities.
Here they come again, Lamine Yamal. Over the top. It's not a bad one. Unai Simon came and judged it pretty well just to get there ahead of Moussa Valdrea.
Because they do play Spain, a high-line Spain, you're going to have the runners over the top. He'd just gone a fraction too early there. Would have been offside, but that's the idea. It is getting runners from deep beyond.
Danny Olmo, and he's wriggled through. Great chance to recover by Lajami. Here's Lamine Yamal. Pedri. Rodri. Pedri. Hardly away, but there is no outball. Cucurella. Pedri. Pedro Porro. Danger at every turn. Pedro Porro with the clip ball to the back post. Cucurella will go and stretch and collect that. Harvey's header is only going to fall to Pedro Porro. Clip ball almost found Lamine Yamal. And this is like slow torture, isn't it, really?
It's so difficult, Steve, because when the heading ball's down, there's just no outlet, there's no way to get someone to get hold of the ball. Talk about that relentless pressure from Spain. The movement is phenomenal.
Cucurella, can he get there? Not quite. Stretching. Abdullah Al-Amri did.
At the time, the legs are tired, Steve, as well. Yeah. The work that they're putting in, but not only the legs, the mind start to get tired. You're trying to pass information on, and it becomes so difficult.
I know all the time they may be only 2 passes away from conceding another goal, because Spain can do it just like that. Right. Rodri for Cucurella. Diana, Dani Olmo making a little dart. He won't reach that though. Well, a festival, a fiesta atmosphere around the stadium, and it's been a footballing fiesta from Spain so far. 5 minutes to half time, 3-0. Could have been twice that almost. If you've got Spain in your World Cup sweepstake, you're feeling a little bit happier than you were a few days ago.
And suddenly they've just gone back to favourites.
Nasser El Dorsari, it's a free kick. Saudi Arabia won't be out if they lose this game, of course, because they did draw with Uruguay in Miami, and their last game in Houston is against Cape Verde, which they'll feel they have a really good chance of winning, and they might have a good chance of getting on the score sheet here. That's deflected. Unai Simon came for it. A momentary lapse of communication or miscommunication with Kabasi.
Yeah, but Kabasi just dealt with it. He's not waiting for anyone because he doesn't know what's behind him. Often do we see a mix-up where you wait for the goalkeeper, you think he's going to get it, someone pops in behind you, taps it into an empty net, and you're made to look silly. He wasn't taking any chances. Good decision.
Laporte. Rodri. Oh, lovely flip. Taken away from the ball, comes back to him though and driven across goal. He wants that third.
He's getting close, isn't he? He's already hit the woodwork. Lovely from Pedri. What to say? As it comes back out to him, it's such a difficult angle. He goes for that power. He gets that horribly wrong. He actually plays it with his right foot onto his left. He knows that was a big opportunity, but that's that little bit of brilliance we've been waiting for from Pedri, just to open that back line up, and a moment of quality.
Over Harvey. The majority of the supporters in the stadium are doused in red and happy with what they've seen in this first 45 minutes. Aljuer. Saad Abdul Hamid. Aljuer again. Nasser El Dorsari. That's unfortunate. It's a goal kick.
Talked about work rate, Steve. That's the Baena, the left winger, making sure he's covering Kukureya. It's 3-0 up and they're in a comfortable position, but he celebrated it like he just scored a goal by
Marcel Dorsey to Moto Belhabi, who continues his run. Salem El Dosari here. And Kabasi has to poke it behind for a corner kick to Saudi Arabia. Some relief from the relentless job of trying to keep Spain at arm's length. Well, they got a scorer against Uruguay. Abdullah Al Amri is up there. So Montreal will take this corner kick. That's a minute of normal time in the first half, and they're in trouble here. This is big trouble. Lamine Yamal. And he's surprised everyone in the stadium by failing to control that. Marcel Dosari very happy to be able to poke it back to goalkeeper Alois.
We got that wrong, didn't we? Because we were both thinking this is danger. He just slowed himself down there, Yamal. It was almost like he was just waiting for others to arrive.
Laporte, Danny Olmo. Rodri moves it into Cucurella. They make it look so easy. Diana. And Rodri off target. Into a minimum of 5 at the end of the first half, and
He's just put under a little bit of pressure, isn't he? Al-Dosari in midfield, getting out, putting that pressure on. But I think Wayne mentioned it before, that there wasn't enough pressure from the Saudis against Uruguay in the first game. They sat off them, they allowed them to play at times. You cannot do that against Spain. That's such a quality act.
well, stiffer test will lie ahead for sure, but Spain have shown in this first half just how good they are. They've played some wonderful football in this half, and Saudi Arabia have been befuddled by it to a large degree. Lamine Yamal. Rodri. I'm sure if you can hear the Spanish commentator at home, I can just hear him in the background. His pace never relents or changes. The Spanish football goes slow, quick sometimes, but he never relents. Pedri. Cucurell's ball deflected, and this half edges towards its close with Spain having another corner kick.
It's just so difficult again to defend against Maina without making an underlapping run. It allows that space to Cucurella on that left-hand side. But it's about flooding numbers into the box when you've got the ball in wide areas, and that's what Spain have done so well.
Saudi Arabia have kept them at bay for about 25 minutes since Oyarzabal got his second of the game, and now they might advance. Salam El Dosari, good feet. Moto Belhabi, well covered.
Just wonder whether he made the wrong choice there. Aljuno had made a run down the right-hand side, and he was the player. Would have found himself in a 1v1 situation. But the recovery runs the back again for 4 or 5 players in and around the Saudi players. Ali Alacha meets his first start since March of last year. Launches the throw in, it's deflected. Unai Simon not sure whether to come or not. Cleared away by Rodri. Abdullah Al-Amri to Hassan Al-Tabakti. Back from an offside position, I think, Musa Baljoe. Pedri, Maina, Oyarzabal didn't make the contact he was looking for, not quite. Made a bit of contact with Salam Al-Dawsari actually. It's just that play again though, as Baina comes in, a little 1-2, such a hard one for fullbacks to defend against because you do get drawn towards the ball rather than the player who's making the run in behind you, and you can see that just a fraction late, catches Al-Dawsari. Well, they haven't lost a game in Spain since March of 2024, and they actually lost at West Ham's London Stadium in a friendly to Colombia. They did lose on penalties to Portugal in the Nations League final of 2025 in Munich, but it's a long, long unbeaten run which is going to be extended in Atlanta, that's for sure. And the supporters inside this stadium have hugely enjoyed that performance. It was 3 goals in the space of not much more than 3 minutes. Lamine Yamal opening his World Cup account, and then 2 in quick succession from Mikel Oyarzabal. It has been one-way traffic. Half-time, Spain 3, Saudi Arabia 0.
Really impressive first 45 minutes from Spain, having opened the tournament with that 0-0 draw against Cape Verde. Actually, their stats are much better in this game, but what they have been able to do is turn them into goals. They lead by 3 goals to 0. This is more like it, Cesar.
Yeah.
This is the Spain you expected to see. Yeah.
Since the first second, I think we could see the Spanish team with the ball intensity, playing 2 touches, playing out wide. Lamine creating chances. So I really enjoyed the first half.
Yeah, well, look at the difference that he specifically made. But it has just been the Spain that we expected to see, Thomas.
Yeah, I think this is, of course, we need 45 minutes more, but we were talking about this is maybe the best and most complete 45 minutes we've seen from any team in the tournament so far. They could be completely in control. Everything we expect from Spain, moving the ball quick, penetrating, counter-pressing, creating chances and scoring 3 fantastic goals.
Just absolutely everything about the performance. I think Saudi Arabia look like terrified. They look scared to get to the ball in case someone goes past them. And as Thomas said, Spain, the tempo, they're moving the ball out, how quick they're getting the ball out wide, they're attacking, they're getting crosses in the box, they're winning second ball, sustaining attacks. It's been devastating.
Thomas, do you want to start us off then with Lamine Yamal's goal, and we can take a look at just how much effect he had from the early stages?
Yeah, but what a start. It just shows how good a player he is in every aspect. But also I think this is what they need. They win it from the goal kick, and now it's a very good ball from Oyarzabal. And then I must say he can just see there's space under, and then he put a perfect ball under. So I think he deserves a lot of praise for that fantastic assist. And I think Yamal has done a lot of good things. I know Wayne will speak a little bit about his movement in a second, but that is probably one of the easier actions he should do.
And we should also point out, we saw the defence highlighted there. They didn't make it too difficult for Spain.
No, they were. I think, especially when it comes from a goal kick, Pedri wins the header, and then they make a quick transition, and the line is not organized because central defender steps out, playing the offside when the 3 defenders they were keeping the line lower. So then it's massive credit to to the ball from Baena, a great cross from Mikel, and a great goal from Lamine.
Yeah, and Lamine Yamal, not even the youngest goal scorer at this year's World Cup already, but he is still only 18 years old. He's going to turn 19 through the course of the tournament. Wayne, what impressed you about his movement in that goal?
Do you know what? I absolutely love him. He just makes me smile with enjoyment and fun he plays with. But if you look at his movement here, it's very subtle, and these little details are so important. So he watches the game as they go forward, and now if you watch him here, he has a little step to it. The Saudi Arabian defender's looking at him. He has a little step to his left. Now he takes the Saudi Arabian's defender his eyes off him, and then it's a straight run. It's so subtle, but that's what gets him the goal. Obviously, the cross is incredible, but that little subtle movement gets him the space to get in there and gets him the goal. It's so good to see a young player understanding the little details of a game which help him get that goal.
Is that instinct, do you think?
I think instinct is, and playing off the cuff is what we see with him dribbling and getting at defenders and his skill. But I think that is football IQ, which is it's very difficult to teach. You can't teach it. That's a football IQ which he's got.
I agree, but I also think that's large bit is a skill set he needs to learn and do a bit more, because he'll do 1v1s, make fantastic goals, top corners, go past 5 players. But those tap-ins, he needs to do that if you want to go to the highest level as Messi and Ronaldo.
That's the ambition to score goals.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. As a winger, to get into the far post, I think will grow his game, and we could see in the first half what he can offer to the team.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of wingers kind of coming to that part of their career where they're trying to add goals into it and trying to add goals into the mix. I mean, you talk about where he needs to improve, Thomas, but that was an excellent 45 minutes from him. I mean, you could see why Spain would have missed him for the first 71 minutes of their opening game.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about it right from the off, as I think this is the first minute he get the ball right in this situation. And I think this was just, okay, this is a different game. 3 players is not doubling up, they're tripling up on him. Now use his pace, but also his power, physicality here. And then just go apart, a little chop, and then a fantastic cross with his right foot. So he just got so much in him that makes us excited. And I agree with Wayne. He just makes us smile. We're sitting in the studio smiling, just this young kid exciting us.
I just think what he does for that Spain team is, there's a lot of young players in that Spain team, and I think what he does, he gives them that confidence that they can go and, he won the Euros last year and he was a 16-year-old. Now he's matured as a player, which seems crazy to say as an 18-year-old, but he gives every other player on the pitch for Spain a confidence and belief that they can win this World Cup. So when you've got that about you, where you can make other players feel better on the football pitch, it's incredible to have that at 18-year-old.
And the fact that he has improved and improved so quickly over such a short space of time, in what hasn't been a very long career at all, Cesar, how impressive is that? From an older player who's been in the dressing room with him, to watch his ability to adapt and to develop. What do you think?
Very impressive, and also with intensity to press.
That shows he's human.
Glossing over that, yeah.
Yeah, to press the defenders. Also in the last minutes of the first half, he was sprinting back from a corner kick to gain the ball and to give a throwing away. So I think that's the mentality that will keep pushing him to be even better.
And the other thing that it's done is affect the players around about him. I know there were 4 changes in all, but particularly the presence of Yamal has really helped Oyarzabal, who had not the greatest of opening games.
Yeah. With Lamine on the wing, he can create the movement. We see here Mikel Oyarzabal running into the first post, a great flick. And then also the mentality to get back into play and great touch and great finish. He's having a better first half than against Valverde, because we see he's making runs, he's creating spaces for his teammates. 2 goals, 1 assist. For a striker, Wayne can say the same. It's very important for the confidence.
It's very important. I think for a striker, when we talk about instinct, that's what's got him his second goal. I think is being instinctive, knowing where the ball's going to land, and being alive, being when everyone else switches off. Maybe you get yourself in the right position, and I think this is a fantastic goal. You look at Porro's position. We spoke about that off air. He's in a very difficult position for Saudi Arabia to pick up, and then some really good cross. Cucurella, the other full-back, coming into the back post, and then just being in the middle of the goal, being in the right areas. When you talk about building your goal tally for the season, I know this is obviously a World Cup, these two positions need to be in, and we see Ruud van Nistelrooy, players like that, with that talent, get so many goals like this, and people would ask, why does he always get these little tap-ins? Instinctively, he ends up in the right place.
We made a
He's alive. I think you said one word. He's like constant alive. You see that he's doing 4 different movements, constantly looking after the ball, and then where will the ball? He smells it. Yeah, so it's fantastic.
I'm sorry to interrupt there, Tom. So just to say that we made such a fuss about Oyarzábal's inability to even touch the ball in the first 31 minutes of the opening game against Cape Verde, and the first player on record since 1966 to do that. So we should say, having assisted the first goal and scored the next 2, he is just the second player on record since 1966 to be directly involved in 3 goals in the opening 25 minutes of a World Cup game. So we should, for balance, we should say that about him. But look, and it has been actually a more balanced performance from Spain on the whole.
Yeah, much balanced. I think Saudi Arabia, they were pressing, but they were in between. They created a lot of space for the midfielders. They could turn, they could play quick. They had 2 players wide, like Lamine and Baena on the left side, so they created from different situations a lot of chances, and Oyarzábal was making great runs, which I think he deserved the goals and the assists.
Mind you, there is no doubt that Lamine Yamal is the star boy of the tournament. Mind you, these 2 are still going.
Give it up for the greatest of all time.
Lionel Messi shows his genius again.
It made the impossible feel like it was possible.
Your superstar lineup of unforgettable characters.
It's called Peaky Blinders.
And absolute icons.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Please do continue to enjoy yourself.
From football legends to TV royalty, watch them all on BBC iPlayer.
But you can watch the other game in Group H, Cape Verde against Uruguay, is on later on. That's on BBC One and iPlayer at 10:30 p.m. Tomorrow, it's Messi time. Argentina take on Austria. That's on BBC One at 5:30. And you can listen to Belgium against Iran. That's on BBC Sounds at 8 o'clock. Also available right now on BBC Sounds. Who doesn't want more Wayne Rooney? The Wayne Rooney Show is available.
Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town.
We need to get rich. We're looking to expand the organisation. Me and Connor are going to be the guys.
No one is going to be a bad fight forever.
The new series of The Young Offenders. Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
Not sure about that sequence there. Now, after a 4-2 win over Croatia, England play their second group game against Ghana on Tuesday. A win would put them in control of Group L. It's live on the BBC from 8 o'clock, and Kelly Summers has been talking to Declan Rice.
Let's reflect on Croatia then. Everyone watching said it was one of the most exciting attacking performances from the England side.
I think the second half, especially in that first 20 minutes after half-time, Jude went sprinting after the centre-back and that just set the tone. Got the ball back, had a lovely little bit of passage of play, and the next one Jude scored. If you don't play, it was going to score every time we went forward. Yeah, that's what the manager wanted. He wanted us to be strong, to run all over them, to be athletic, and in the end it was
You've all spoken a lot in the aftermath about what Thomas Tuchel said to you at half-time.
It was tough because obviously at half-time you have so many faults as a football player. But having a leader like that who spoke so calmly and reassured you that everything is going to be okay, it's just a football match. We've done what we set out to do. Started to run well, a strong performance, and in the end we were very happy with that.
The burning question, how are you and how's your fitness?
Yeah, I'm good as gold. I think it was the right decision. The other night, 70 minutes, I was feeling a little bit of neural pain, which behind the scenes I've been managing at Arsenal this season. But yeah, it was the right decision, and also a good decision because we have unbelievable squad players and players who can come off the bench who can make impact. So yeah, I'm good.
Set pieces. Get the feeling we're going to be talking about them a little bit more this summer.
Everyone's enjoying them now, isn't it? Everyone's enjoying them now.
Not many people enjoy them much more than you though, Dec.
I feel like now every time I put down the ball for a set piece, whether it's a corner, a wide free kick, I feel like I'm going to get an assist. excited now.
We've seen England win opening matches at tournaments, but that felt like it was a bit of a statement.
On the pitch after the game, it was just connecting with the fans and they were singing.
What was that like?
That was special. I think it's one of them moments, that's just a memory now, and it's gone. You don't ever get that moment back. Being in Dallas, singing Wonderwall, there's nothing like that first time. Being a player at a major tournament for England, the biggest honour in football for me. Obviously now, have another massive game coming up that we want to do well in, so every moment counts and we're going to keep pushing.
The players have all talked at length about that moment singing with the fans and being able to celebrate with them. They've also all talked about Thomas Tuchel's words at half-time. You know him well as a manager. Can you imagine him in that situation?
Yeah, I can imagine him because he was very good. To be fair, he was, since he arrived, he was engaging with the players, with the staff. He was very clear how he wanted his team to play. So I can imagine he was very calm and very reassuring, as Declan mentioned, and I think we could see in the second half after coming from match 2 at halftime, the way they came back in the second half was amazing, and I'm sure they gave them a lot of confidence.
And as much as his words were reassuring, I'm sure yours will be for the England fans who are watching as well, to know they have Thomas Tuchel at the helm. We are watching, though, Spain against Saudi Arabia, because Spain, as we know, drew their opening game in this tournament, but this has been a very different performance, a very different first 45 minutes. They made changes at the start of the game. Looks like they're about to make changes at half-time as well. Taking you through the second half, Stephen Warnock and Steve Wilson.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of Spanish changes. Ferran Torres and Yeremy Pino are coming on. The Crystal Palace man, of course, Yeremy Pino, who was an unused squad member in Qatar. He is going to have his first taste of tournament football. He missed Euro 2024 with a knee injury. If you are enjoying this game and all the World Cup matches live with us, all the highlights on BBC iPlayer, don't forget you do need a TV licence, and you can scan the QR code on screen now to buy. We think, though, it's as yet unconfirmed that Lamine Yamal and Yathab, the two goal scorers, are the players who are making way for Spain, and that makes sense. Stephen Warnock, obviously, Lamine Yamal's had that issue coming into this.
Yeah, he has, and I think it's the right thing to do to make sure that you've got your best player, arguably the best player in world football at the moment, moving forward throughout the competition. And I think we saw a really strong performance from Baena as well on this left-hand side, and how dangerous he's going to be. And now it's about making sure that you keep them players fit, fresh for the latter stages of this competition.
A couple of changes for Saudi Arabia as well. Abdullah Al-Hamman is coming on, scored in a friendly against Serbia back in the spring, and the experience of Mohamed Kanu is a little surprised maybe that he didn't start, and he will sit in the midfield with Misa Al-Jouer on his way off the pitch. Mohamed Kanu, the 31-year-old who played one game in the 2018 World Cup and all three in 2022, and started the first game against Uruguay. He is on for Saudi Arabia for this second half. So 3-0, Spain lead. Kicking from right to left in the second half with both their goal scorers withdrawn, and Dani Olmo now playing down the middle. Yeremy Pino out on the right-hand side. And Ferran Torres along there with Olmo. Well, let's face it, they all attack at some point or other, don't they? For Spain, as they just look to get their legs moving again at the start of the second period. We saw Brazil 3-0 up at half-time against Haiti the other night. Really stretched themselves in the second half to try and
had any more. If Spain are feeling relentless and ruthless, whatever Hardy here for Saudi Arabia, finding Nasser Al-Dosari. That's a nice idea, but offside.
Sorry, Steve, I was talking about Maina coming off before, but it's not him, it's what's the centre forward?
And Lamine Yamal, yeah.
I think to take your goal scorer off as well, it's a difficult call when you're on a hat-trick, but it's not about today's game, it's about moving forward later in the competition later on to make sure that he's hungry for more goals, that he's there, he's available. It's a sensible decision to make.
Kukurea. Pedri. Rodri. Dani Olmo. For Jeremy Pino to get on the pitch in the World Cup. Winner of the Conference League with Palace is Baena. It's caught after he delivered that pass. Pedri. Just cleared Ferran Torres and is put behind for a corner kick to Spain. It's a painful one. He just delivered the ball and was then clattered. Rodri sneaking around the back post. Referee just wants to calm that down in there. And finally the corner kick comes on, it's flicked on and Kukurea hits it! It's another own goal. Now Kukurea hit the shot, but having otherwise made the save,
Oh no.
they cannoned into the back of the net.
I'm good.
Off one of the Saudi defenders. This is becoming a bit of a World Cup of own goals. It's gone in off Motto Al-Harbi in the end. Kukurea's shot. Good save actually. No, it's hit Abdullah Al-Amri. It's Al-Amri who is the unfortunate man. I'll take that back. I'll get this right eventually. It's Hassan Al-Tabakti who gets the touch that he didn't want. Kukurea will not get that goal. It is the 8th own goal at these World Cup finals. Only had 2 in 2022. It's 4-0.
It's fun.
We have to feel for him. Hassan Al-Tabakti. Cross into the box, nice Simon, comfortable take. Rodri. Dani Olmo looking for Pedri, cut out by Saad Abdelhamid. Dani Olmo, lovely. Ferran Torres. Rodri for Spain. Beat Costa Rica 7-0 in the last World Cup. He made win at a World Cup finals. It's a record they could break if they really wanted to, but whether they want to in this early stage of the tournament, who knows? He's playing after that, can't reach it.
It won't be at the forefront of their mind, Steve, but they'll know there's more goals in this game, and they'll know that confidence can grow. An opportunity for people to get on the score sheet. They'll certainly want that. It was a lovely move from Ferran Torres towards the near post. He might not initially get the flick, but it just drew a few players towards him. A couple of Saudi players getting sucked under the ball. Position from Cucurella at the back post.
Kabassi for Laporte. Walking pace to Rodri. And then they ping it into Pedro Porro. Is in on goal here. Otherwise with the save, Ferran Torres with a header and the double save from Mohamed. Otherwise, Pedro Porro was racing in on goal, hoping for a first ever international strike.
Well, from walking pace to sprinting, just the injection of pace that they're able to put into the game, Spain, just by one killer pass. And it was Kabassi with a brilliant ball. We talked about him and his ability to build up from the back earlier on.
Inside Abdul Hamid. Amri. Otherwise, this is Mohamed Kano with a touch around the corner to Faraz Al-Burkan. He's lost out. For Pedri for Dani Olmo. Flick away from Amri, but it's gone straight to Rodri. You're going to do better than that, really. Dani Olmo's touch couldn't get through Moto Belhadi. That might be a foul by Pedro Porro. It is. It's a free kick to Saudi Arabia. Spain-Uruguay will be a good game in Guadalajara. Final game in Group H.
That's that ball through to Pedro Porro. It's just brilliant from Kabassi, but the run from Porro, he knows he's got his wide man. He knows Pino's hugging that line, and there's a gap in between. And I talked before about who'd you pick up if you're a Saudi player in that back five. It's so difficult.
Well, Saudi coach George Astonis will be telling his players, listen, we go into the third group game in the World Cup, knowing that if we beat Cape Verde, we'll be through to the knockout phases. They'd take that.
Oh, absolutely, it would. Talk about confidence and how you grow confidence. This is how you lose confidence, and it's very difficult to pick that back up.
That might find Cucurella. Oof, that could have gone anywhere. It flashes through to Pedro Porro. Little moments of panic in the Saudi defence. Here's Pedri. Looking for the space for the shot, wasn't quite there. Rodri. Too deep for Ferran Torres. Cucurella launched himself. It parted his hair. And he's retrieved possession and found Dani Olmo. Cucurella, Rodri, every white jersey between the ball and the goal. And that's how it's been for a lot of this game. A little bit too much on that. It'll be a Saudi goal kick.
so good in forward area Spain. And anyone who's watching the game, and you see that if they don't get turned, they can't pick a pass. They just bounce it off. This was Cucurella going through. He's brave as he gets to the ball. Almost led to another opportunity. But they don't try and turn into players on the edge of the box. They know that unless they get a clear shout of turn, they just bounce it, they lend the pass, and then they find another shirt in space.
I feel the skipper, like Rodri, is one of the big teams in the World Cup. Be human if you hadn't just envisaged picking up that trophy.
I think you've got
Wondering
to.
how that would feel.
Yeah, 100% he will be. I'm thinking even more after Yamal's performance today. Even though it was 45 minutes.
That's Al-Dosari up to Abdullah Al-Hamdan.
That almost becomes his job now on the pitch, Steve, is to keep the players hungry to score more goals, to have that killer instinct in front of goal. I was told today against Cape Verde where they were trying to wheel the ball in, they were poor in front of goal. You've got to improve that. What better way to improve it than against the team in the World Cup in the second game?
Making the run, Kabasi instead looks for Cucurella. His header for Laporte. Away to the back, peddling Pedri. Got Nasser on goals three.
He loses the ball, Pedri, and straight away on the press goes and intercepts that forward ball.
There he is, Fernando Hierro. I was going to say this in the first half. Yuri Djorkaeff alongside him, actually, to his right-hand side. You'll remember 2 days before the start of their campaign, Spain in the 2018 World Cup, they sacked Lopetegui because they discovered he'd been accepting the job at Real Madrid. Fernando Hierro took over.
Michel Salgado as well, a former teammate of mine at Blackburn. He did okay, didn't he? He was a good player.
I wonder where he ranks playing for Blackburn in his list of achievements.
Oh, he enjoyed his time.
Yeah,
He loved it.
some player.
Phenomenal player.
Yuri Djorkaeff, their French World Cup winner alongside Fernando Hierro.
Was he on the show or asleep?
I think he was just purring at the performance from Spain, maybe. I remember when he used to play for Kaiserslautern, he had a UEFA Cup tie against George Graham's Tottenham Hotspur, and Yuri Djorkaeff missed it because he had a ruptured testicle, which I thought was one you want to avoid. He's Danny Olmo.
It's making me feel a little bit unwell.
I'm not sure how he got it. Cucurella taking it away from Faisal Braccan. It's painful. Rodri's got bashed here. It's right on the nose, isn't it? It's right on the end of the day.
He's kicking his feet on the floor as he went down. It will be a very sore one for Rodri. Surely accidental though.
Yeah, it's a yellow card though for Mohamed Kano, the most experienced really of this Saudi side. Playing his 6th game in World Cup finals, into the book. And Faris Al-Braccan, who has worked pretty hard up there, is coming off for Saudi Arabia. And Mohamed Abdul Al-Shamat is coming on, and so too Ala Al-Hedji. Al-Hedji only made his debut right at the end of May in a defeat to Ecuador in a friendly, but he gets on for what's only a 5th cap at the age of 30, a late starter. And Abdul Al-Shamat comes on. And Rodri is okay, but that was painful. We'll see Nico Williams and Mikel Merino in a minute. Danny Olmo makes way. Mikel Merino obviously had his injury problems at Arsenal last season. He who's actually joint top scorer for Spain in qualifying with 6 goals in their qualifying campaign, which included a hat-trick in a 6-0 win over Turkey. And Nico Williams will come on for Alex Baena and gets a mighty roar of welcome. Otherwise, we'll get on to that. Talk about options.
Not talented at all, is it? I love watching Williams play. Such an energetic footballer, direct, brilliant skills when he gets on the ball, but end product as well, which is the most important thing.
And they're getting minutes in the legs of as many players as possible.
Yeah, it's vitally important.
Ferran Torres here takes it himself, works his way into the box. I think he might have tripped himself there. Referee's certainly not inclined to feel it was a foul on Ferran Torres. Just, I think, quite control it as he would have wanted to.
That was a lovely take because he almost faked a little back heel there and then he drags it in, and it is. It's just caught the defender, just catches Najami, just kicks through his calf. He's actually done well, Najami, for Saudi Arabia. He's found life difficult. He's tried to get his body on the line. He's made a few recovering tackles.
Plays for Al Hilal, one of the big clubs, of course, of the Saudi Pro League, who made the quarter-finals of the FIFA Club World Cup last summer, losing finally to Fluminense in Orlando, having drawn with both Real Madrid and RB Salzburg, and then beating Manchester City in extra time in the round of 16. He was part of that setup. Pedri being chased determinedly, but holding off the challenge. He didn't hold off the challenge of Nasser Al-Dosari, though. He has won it cleanly. Jami, Saad Abdul Hamid. He played for Blackburn as well. The 96-97 season, Greek international, Georgios Donis.
His job tonight will just simply be to pick the players back up, to give them confidence, to believe that they're a decent enough team. Like you said before, Steve, they're not going to come up against many teams of this quality. But it's a learning curve for them. They've got to understand how difficult it is to play against teams like this.
Oh, it's a lovely weighted ball to Ferran Torres. It's going wide. It's a great ball from Mikel Merino. What a dream of a pass.
This is always the problem when you drop into a back four. There becomes other gaps now. The pass is brilliant. Just goes round one of the centre halves, in between the other. Ferran Torres, you just expect him to find a goal. Credit to Eloise. He's quickly out. He's right in the face of Ferran Torres, making life difficult, making that goal shorter, smaller.
Mikel Merino, Nico Williams. It was a little bit high there from Anil Ajami. The referee's let it go. There he is, Lamine Yamal. First World Cup goal to look back upon. Nasser Al-Dosari. It's too deep. I can't think that Unai Simon has really had anything to do. Just trot back that first half effort from, was it Abdullah Al-Amri, trying to lob it from about 70 metres.
That was all, wasn't it? But again, you've got to be concentrated. There's been a couple of times where he's had to be a sweeper keeper.
Laporte. the ball more quickly. Nico Williams. Pedro made a little run. Rodri. Pino. Rodri. Constantly scanning the Spain players. When the ball comes into them, checking the shoulders, seeing who's around them. Pedri. Nico Williams pass into the penalty area, put behind for a corner by Ali Lachami. It was Mikel Moreno who's made the running behind. It was really a delightful ball from Nico Williams. Pedri's ball is deep. Rodri can reach it, but from an offside position, and it's going to be a free kick to Saudi Arabia. Meant to be an offside that time, but there's always an overload at the back post for Spain. They do it so well. When the balls go into the box, there's always a deeper player able to pick it up. Well, they're 4-0 up. They're 4-0 up. And cruising. If you scan the QR code on your screen now, you can have your say with BBC Sports Player Rater. Who has stood out for you? Well, most of them, to be honest, at one point or another, most of those in red have been outstanding. They look as though they're very much in the stride now of this World Cup. Let's bring in Cesar Azpilicueta again. Cesar, you'd be beaming, I should think. In their stride now, Luis de la Fuente's side.
Yeah, I think now they are managing minutes as well. They are getting more players into the competition, and I think they will have the ambition to score more goals, because we've seen it's very important to qualify for the next round. So also the confidence, I expect a bit more of the same.
And just tell me if you're in that position and you're thinking, as Spain were, that had they finished runners-up in this group, which I don't think now is going to happen, then you've got a possibility of a very early, very big game against Argentina. Is that in the back of your mind?
Yes, you don't want these kind of games that early, but the truth is you have to beat the best teams if you want to win the World Cup. But when Spain started this competition, their aim was to finish top of the group, and I'm sure they will do everything they can to win the group and then go into the next stage with a lot of confidence.
Thank you very much, Cesar. Well, Marc Cucurella would have wanted that goal. It would have been his second in the colours of Spain had it been his, but it's not. It is the 8th own goal. And it's 4-0. What does Georgios Donis hope for from the next 20-odd minutes for his Saudi side? Just some kind of survival?
No, don't concede any more goals. Just make sure that you're playing being as compact as possible, making life difficult for Spain. But yeah, he'll just want the scoreline to stay the same. If they can maybe pinch a goal, perfect. But it's looking very difficult in this game.
Pedri is replaced, and Fabian Ruiz comes on to get more minutes. This 3 months of this season, but it finished gloriously for him for Paris Saint-Germain with a back-to-back Champions League victory. He started the draw against Cape Verde, did Fabian Ruiz. Coming up on the BBC from the World Cup, Belgium-Iran tonight, 8 o'clock, BBC Sounds at 5 Live, Cape Verde against Uruguay. 10:30 on BBC One, New Zealand and Egypt in the early hours, 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, BBC Sounds and 5 Live. And if Cape Verde fail to beat Uruguay in that game on BBC One at 10:30, then it means that Spain will be guaranteed a space in the knockout phase. just gone out of play before Cucurella got there. Confirmation of the change. Pedri off, Fabian Ruiz on. And they still haven't used Martin Zubamendi or Alex Grimaldo. Munoz, who's joining Liverpool from Osasuna, is injured at the moment. He's not available today. Well, they'd love it, Saudi Arabia, if they could just nick a goal. Something to take to Houston for their last game against Cape Verde, and that's a nice little flip around the corner, and Moto Balhabi is dispossessed by Rodri. Nice way to spend your birthday, 65 today. Couldn't have gone much better for them, could it? The way that they started the game, got that early dominance, and then managed to score a quick couple of goals, just settled themselves, Spain. But they'll have come here with not an arrogance, but a real confidence about themselves that they could get this job done. Don't listen to the outside noise, to what's being said about them. They know what they've got, and with the substitutes that we've seen from them, the strength and depth is quite phenomenal. There'll be a real belief that it doesn't matter that first game. From Hassan Al-Tambakti on Cucurella, Fabian Ruiz, Nico Williams, shouldn't forget Spain didn't start 2010 in blinding fashion. They went on to win it. They lost to Switzerland in their opening game in South Africa. It's not how you start, it's how you finish in a World Cup. Drilled in toward Ferran Torres, lifted away by Ali Lachami, holding it up or trying to hold it up. Abdullah Al-Hamdan was beaten to it. Fabian Ruiz with the forward ball. Looking for the return, but Lachami slid in and clattered it as far as he could away from the Saudi goal. Whatever they've been working on in training Spain, it's worked, because the relationships, the understanding of runs in forward areas, at times has been breathtaking. It's been phenomenal to watch, and they have taken the foot off the pedal a little bit in the second half. Laporte. And again. 68,239 in the house. Being here back in the Atlanta Olympics in 1996, this was the Georgia Dome in those days, a pretty good indoor stadium in itself, held 60-odd thousand. They split it in half. One side was the gymnastics, the other side was the basketball. That's a good ball, slid out of play for a Spanish throw-in. And Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal were part of that dream team. Went on to win the gold medal. I was lucky enough to see them, which was really, yeah, quite something. I mean, that was a good stadium, but they blew it up and built this one instead. Incredible. Phenomenal stadium, this. Some of my childhood memories watching the Atlanta games was the Olympics. I was on holiday in America, Steve, and then every evening after we went back from our theme park, we'd sit there and watch the Olympics. The highlight of which was probably my Johnson's 400 metres when he destroyed the world record by an enormous amount.
Iconic gold spikes.
Oh, it's the the gold is the 200 metres he won. Yeah, he won the 400 as well, obviously, goes without saying. Well, Shamat infield. Hamid. Hamid. Shamat again. Long diagonal from Ali Lajami. It's interesting, you do occasionally see players having to shield their eyes as it's dropping. It's very, very bright, the enormous screen above us, and it can be a bit of a problem. We saw it in the Czech game against South Africa.
Patrick Schick, when the cross came into him and he misplaced the header, it almost hit him on the chest, and then he looked up as if to say, I lost it in the light.
Capacity for Kukura.
To touch that was.
This could be a Spanish throw-in.
Feels like a training ground exercise now, doesn't it, for Spain? We've slowed the game right down. I've almost said, okay, enough's enough. Let's play within ourselves a little bit.
Couldn't have gone much better for them, really. 45 minutes for Lamine Yamal, a couple of goals for Yathabar. They've clicked back into their muscle memory here against Saudi Arabia, who've not been able to cope with them from almost the very first whistle. This is Mohamed Kano for Saudi Arabia. That's not a bad ball. Salam El Dorsari is onside. Mohamed Kano, Dorsari tucked away from him, and here's Nico Williams. They're a pass away from getting through. Yeremy Pino trying to play that pass back into Yeremy Pino, but that was the intention from Ferran Torres. Didn't quite come off.
Intensity of the press from Spain has completely dropped out of the game as well. In the first half, they wouldn't have been able to pick the heads up like they are being able to do now, the Saudi Arabian players.
Shamat back in field to Mohamed Kano, an exchange of pass with Abdullah Al-Hamdan. Salam El Dorsari. He's been a great player for Saudi Arabia, their number 10, Salam El Dorsari, for a number of years. He's 34 now. I don't think he'll have another World Cup in him. You wouldn't have thought so. Into the last 10. And that's nicked through to Abdullah Al-Hamdan, who hits it, and Unai Simon has a save to make. Certainly the toughest thing the Spanish keepers had to do this afternoon.
It just wasn't hit with any real intent, was it? It was almost a hope that he was going to get it on target. Al-Hamdan.
Laporte. Quickly rectified. Flipped up to Fabian Ruiz, moving it first time to Nico Williams. Williams ball in and almost almost another own goal, otherwise with a very good save actually. I don't think it would have counted, it was a foul on Hassan Al-Tambakti.
Claimed for it straight away. There was a push in the back. Great work from Nico Williams down this left-hand side. He used that run of Kukureya just to get the cross into the box. But you can see it here. This is Kukureya making that move. Just gives him half a yard. Push from Ferran Torres. Maybe only a tiny touch, but it's enough. It was off the mid-drift. The big centre half. Hassan Bakti.
No player in World Cup history has ever been unfortunate enough to score 2 own goals in World Cup finals football. He wasn't too far away from scoring 2 in the same game. Now possibly an opportunity for Mohamed Abdou Al-Shamat. Mark Kukureya has fouled him, as only Mark Kukureya can.
He's a good player though, isn't he, Kukureya? You can see that moves going to Real Madrid, his time at Chelsea, how he improved as a 1v1 defender.
That's what they say in the studio before that, doesn't it? If you're playing against him, he's quite easy not to like, but if he's in your team, you're very glad to have him.
100%. He's a winner. He cares about it. That's the biggest thing. I remember watching him for Spain in the Olympics a few years back. I thought, keep my eye on him. And then Brighton signed him straight off the back of it.
Otherwise, a bit fortunate that that slightly shanked clearance found a teammate. Saad Abdul Hamid. It's a free kick to Saudi Arabia. I think Aymeric Laporte committed the foul.
First impression was he made a lot of it on Dorsey, but you see there, Laporte knows exactly what he's doing, just moves that shoulder out ever so slightly.
Avoiding yellow cards is all part of the equation at this stage of the World Cup. It's a long game you're playing. Pedro got one against Cape Verde, but none today for the Spanish. So far, Fabian Ruiz, Kabasi, Ricardo Marina, Pedro Toro. Hedge. There's a lot of room on the right hand side here for Saad Abdul Hamid, and that's where it's gone. He's controlled that quite neatly on his chest. It's firmly away by Laporte. Hamid again, who plays in France with Lens, who lost their manager to Crystal Palace, of course, over the summer after a very good season, winning the French Cup, finishing runners up to PSG. So Saad Abdul Hamid is playing at a very high level on the ball here. It's maybe his longest spell of possession in the game that Saudi Arabia have had. Mohamed Abdul Al-Shamat. Nico Williams ending momentarily, but not for long. Tambakti, that's going to ricochet away to Pedro Porro. Referee stop play, head injury.
Yeah, so the two players collided with each other from Saudi Arabia. formation, who was going up for the header.
You have to temper it, of course, with the fact that they're playing Saudi Arabia, not as strong a nation, but this is one of the most complete performances we've seen so far, would you say, in this tournament?
Absolutely. The first half was quite brilliant from Spain. It was more out of possession and in possession that was the impressive side of the game, and they show that they want to work off the ball, they want to win it back as quickly as possible, and they want to suffocate their opposition, and then we know the quality they've got when going forward. Second half has been more like just a training ground session for the players, but they've got the job done. It's exactly what they needed.
They'll be heading to Houston for that big game against Cape Verde, hoping that they can get the win, which would secure only their second ever game of knockout football at a World Cup finals. I'm a little bit worried about him here. There's still medical staff clustered around him.
Must be a cut, mustn't it, Steve? That's why they're taking the time.
Has been in the wars a few times in his career, long career. And I suspect they're not going to take any chances here. Khalid Al-Ghanam is coming on. Tying up Mohamed Kano.
Yeah, he'll just have to change his shirt, won't he? With blood on his shirt.
Khalid Al-Ghanam plays for Al-Ettifaq. On his first cap for 4 years in the spring, friendly against Egypt. He'll be on shortly. I don't think Mohamed Kano is going to be coming off in this game for some more. It's Nasser Al-Dorsari who is going to make way. So on comes Khalid Al-Ghanam. He's worked hard in midfield. Nasser Al-Dorsari.
I think they all have, Steve. I think it's just a question of quality and the physical quality as well, after we talk about the technical quality. But there's a golfing class in fitness levels as well.
Laporte. Seems to add on Kabasi for Spain to Hungary. Laporte. Rodri. Pedro Porro. Mikel Merino. What a lovely ball it was. He played for Ferran Torres. It deserved a goal. Jeremy Pino into Fabian Ruiz. Beautifully done. And it's a fifth pin for Ferran Torres for Spain. Flag
I've stayed down for now. Might go to VAR. As it stands, it's Spain 5.
Capping off a lovely, scintillating, mesmerising move again from the European champions. People talking about that interplay in forward areas. Just this little nutmeg into the path and then that ball across Ferran Torres. He looks like he's level, looks like he's onside. Fabian Ruiz, that little ball will be looked at by VAR. Yeah, Nicolas Cayo of Colombia is the video assistant referee. On-pitch decision is goal, but obviously there is a check going on, and Rafael Klaus, the Brazilian referee, is waiting for that to be completed. It was at the least very tight. Well, it must be tight, Steve, because it's taken a little bit of time just to check it. It looked like it was the left fullback who was possibly playing Ferran Torres onside. Just because it's not going to be the most significant goal scored at this World Cup finals doesn't mean to say that they don't have to take the time to get it right. Be significant to Ferran Torres. Such a difficult one to call, isn't it? Our team are working hard on this. If this is a goal, it will be his third in World Cup football, having scored a couple in Qatar. The crowd are not taking kindly now to the It's too long. It is, it's too long. We need to look at it this closely. It's a real problem.
Goal. Let's go back and check it. Jesus. Here we go. No goal. Bono. Offside.
So his goal is rubbed out.
Still 4.
Just the 4. There's still time for a fifth. Nico Williams has it just taken away from him in the nick of time by Ali Lajami. So Abdelhamid with the ball down the line. It's come off Mark. Well, has it? I see one is eager to prevent a corner and has, but it is a Saudi throw. He'll want back-to-back clean sheets to start this World Cup, that's for sure.
Hold back forward and the goalkeeper. Probably Rodri as well, who screens in front. I want to make sure that they go into games where the opposition psychologically are thinking this is a difficult team to break down. Not only do they have quality going forward, but they're a stubborn backline as well.
Tidied up very efficiently, as you would expect, by Rodri. Paul Kerbasi just examining the end of his boot, having been slightly trodden on. Rodri, Fabian Ruiz. It's again probably Lamine Yamal will take the headlines because he's the stardust in the squad and he's got his first goal in World Cup finals football. But it's been a collective effort of the very highest order from Spain here. Pedro Porro's ball in.
Oh, Porro.
Skimming header away, Spain will have the throw.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting part, isn't it, Steve? They're not heavily reliant on Yamal just to win them games individually. All over the pitch, that movement, that creativity, it's evident to see.
Jeremy Pino, Fabian Ruiz, Mikel Merino. Rodri trying to get underneath it. Abdullah Al-Hamdan got a little touch on it. There's a push. And that will do, says the Brazilian referee.
That is something like really difficult.
Here against Cape Verde in Atlanta 5 days ago, but very much on song here today.